I'm here to share my story about how I got conned. Hey y'all, my name is KT. If you're new to this channel, welcome. It's your girl KT. I'm your new favorite publicist that talks about lifestyle, corporate, PR, all that kind of stuff. And I'm just really your homegirl from down the way. But I'm here to tell you guys a horror story. And the horror story is about my whole moving transition. If you guys didn't know, I am originally from Birmingham, Alabama. I ended up accepting a job in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and in between December and January, I had this whole moving ordeal, and I'm going to talk about it because had somebody else talked about their moving experience with this company, maybe I wouldn't have been in this predicament. But nevertheless, I'm just gonna go ahead and get right on to the video before I start spilling this tea. Okay, so right on to the video. Alright y'all, so I'm going to name names, and y'all know usually I'm not a name girl, but y'all got to know because I don't want you guys to go through the same heartache and pain I went through. So we're gonna fast forward back to December. So I've told some of this story, not all of this story. I am still being nice and protecting the people in the story, but I mean, heck, should I? But anyway, when all the stuff started popping off at my previous employer, when the stuff popped off, I was like, okay, God, we're gonna have to switch it up. So I was already in the process of looking for another job. I had been interviewing with people out of state, so I was like, maybe guys telling me I need to move out of state because I could not get an interview in Birmingham to save my life. Okay, nobody was calling me back. Everybody from every state of when I was applying called me back, but Alabama. I'm talking about we applying for stuff in Colorado. Y'all, do I look like a Coloradian? No, I'm not doing well with snow, but I was convinced I needed to move, and God was only calling back interviews for people who was moving. So I was like, okay, God, I need a job by the 1st of January because I had a meeting set up on the 5th of January with my then boss, and I needed to be somewhere up out of there. I needed this to come to pass. So even though I set that expectation, in the back of my mind I was like, okay, we gonna have to spend January, February looking for a job, so we're gonna do what all we can. Well, I have interviewed for the job that I'm in now. If y'all don't know the backstory, I actually interviewed twice for this position. So I interviewed back in 2022 because I just wanted to get my interview skills up, to be completely honest. I just wanted to see if I still had it, just in case when I needed it. So I didn't get picked that time. The job opened back up, so I was like, okay, maybe this is a sign. I'm very much a sign girl. God, I feel like God calls me to different things, so I applied for it again. Funny story, I actually got offered the position in November, and I know y'all looking like, but why was you? The money wasn't, the math wasn't mathing, and so I declined the offer because the math wasn't mathing. For me to move, the math had to be correct. Now, I said I'm a signs girl, and it could have been a sign, but I'm no fool either. So although it could have been a sign, at that time the math just wasn't mathing, so I had to decline. Now, did I think they was gonna come back and say what they said? Never in a million years. But we're here. They said yes, I said yes. So December 4th, I accepted the offer. So now I'm just like, oh, this for real. So I'm moving. So I knew instantly I had to find a moving company Because if I remember anything about what happened when I moved from my childhood home to an apartment, everybody who said they was gonna be there did not show up until a couple of days later after I didn't need the help anymore. So I was like, that's not gonna happen, because guess what? Birmingham and Chattanooga is 2 hours away. I can't just go back to the house and roll up. And I mean, I could, but that's a lot of time and a lot of space to just roll up when I feel like it. Like my sister still living in our childhood home. I can go back and get stuff when I needed it, go back to the house, all that kind of stuff, and it was easier. But I can't do that from 2 hours away. So I was like, okay, we're gonna get a moving company, we're going to do our due diligence. And I thought I did my due diligence. So I was like, okay, for me, I'm just like your RFP. Give me 3 quotes and we up out of here. So if you don't know what an RFP is, a request for proposal, and normally in corporate lingo, you get 3 quotes for something that you're trying to buy, and you go with the lowest or best benefit for you. My bad, y'all. Corporate lingo sometimes slip out. But so I'm looking up on the internet, and I ended up picking 3 people to go with a quote. So the first company, I'm not going to say the last 2 companies just because I'm not going to put them out Front Street, but that's just it. But All Moving Coastal Group is one of the ones that I went with, and 2 more companies. So I was like, okay, I got my 3 quotes. I talked to All Move Coastal Group. They gave me a nice little quote, and I said, okay, this sounds on my level. So we went room by room from what I remember. I added some extra boxes. Mind you, this is going to be very much the same information. Just remember, the initial quote was medium boxes, right? Okay. So the second company, the guy was like, hey, I'm not gonna be able to make it out. And I was like, oh, that's okay. But I needed to know the quote, because we're crunch time. We're going into the holidays, and I wanted to have something concrete before Christmas, because I had to come up here, find an apartment, all that kind of stuff. So needless to say, the 2 groups dropped off, and I was like, well, dang, I'm left with all coastal moving. So we're gonna go with all coastal movers. The math. I was able to put down a down payment. They told me that the rest of it was gonna be due other move. I was like, okay, that's fine. But then I should have known something, because I called and was like, hey, well, I'll go ahead and pay the rest. Oh, you can't pay the rest. I was like, swear? I ain't never heard of a company that don't want money up front, but okay. Needless to say, so my move date was always the same one. My move date, because I started, this is all a blur now, but my date of hire to get here was the 26th, but I needed to move everything on the 27th. So I had this time perfectly. Listen to me. That Thursday, I came down here, got my apartment. I slept on the air mattress because it was for one night. Went to orientation Friday. Left Friday. Was going to meet the moving people on Saturday morning to move my apartment. Saturday we moved. They put together everything. Sunday I can rest. Everybody who was coming with me would be fine. Monday I start my next part of orientation, start the new job officially on the Tuesday. That's how it went, because that was the one that made the most sense. Obviously, All Coastal didn't get with the program. They messed me up. So this is what happened. They told me that they were going to call me on that Wednesday. The Wednesday before, to do a quality control. Now, I must say, I didn't do medium boxes again. I ended up with the large boxes. But literally that's all that changed. Everything was still the same. So I thought. So I told him, hey, you know, well, they sent me a message Tuesday and was like, hey, take pictures of everything. And I'm just like, swear, I got boxes on top of everything. I got stuff wrapped because we had to bubble wrap stuff. We had to put TVs in the boxes, or they was gonna charge me extra for whatever they had to pack. So basically outside of my bedroom furniture, everything was packed. So it was kind of hard to take pictures, and I was like, hey, everything I told you on the phone is what we're bringing. I can take some pictures of the big items like the couch, but it's stuff on these couches, it's boxes everywhere, all that kind of stuff. And they was like, no, it's fine. So we get on the phone Wednesday. Wednesday is when I lost it, y'all. I lost it. I said, okay, so I'm going from 20 medium boxes to 20 large boxes. In my head, there's not much of a difference between a medium and a large box. If I show you these boxes, there was a medium and a large. Like, yes, the large is bigger because it's a large box, but it's not an extra large box. So it shouldn't be that much extra. Y'all, I'm going to talk numbers because I'm going to talk numbers. The move was quoted to me at $2,000. Which is not bad for a cross states move, right? After changing 20 medium boxes to 20 large boxes, them folks told me it was $4,000. And then on Wednesday, check this out, paid a deposit already, paid $1,000 deposit. They told me I was gonna have to pay another $1,000 deposit on Wednesday. How we go from 2 to 4 because of some boxes, I would never know. And so I was like, well, I'm only prepared to pay what you guys told me up until now. Then he was like, oh well, then we gotta figure out what truck coming. What you mean what truck coming? Ain't it y'all truck? Apparently, nobody told me this, but All Coastal Moving Group is the brokerage. And I work in trucking, so nobody ever said on the phone that this was the brokerage. Because if that was the case, I would have just found a trucking company to move me. Brokerage already charged out the booty to book because they trying to make as much money. So then the truck has to make money, so they're gonna charge you something on top of that, which I didn't know because I didn't know there was a brokerage until then. So I'm looking crazy, and they was like, oh well, you know, I was like, okay, well, at this point I was like, well, we got other cars going, so I'll put, instead of putting all these boxes on the truck, I'll take some of the boxes off. So I called back, I think it's Thursday by this point. Mind you, they told me Friday they were gonna call to tell me what day and what time. But mind you, I'm looking puzzled because why are you telling me what date? I told you I need to move on January 27th, right? Yeah. Keep that in mind. So I called back Thursday. I was like, hey, you know, I got some stuff that I want to take off the truck. I'm just gonna go with the biggest pieces, and you can just take all the boxes off. I'll just figure it out. Oh, well, you can't take anything off the truck. Excuse me? What do you mean I can't take something off the box, off the truck? Well, when the driver gets there, you'll be able to tell him. But my thing is, I don't know what the price is going to be when he gets here. Aren't I supposed to give him a money order? Because at first they was like, you can only give cash and a money order. But aren't you supposed to know the price of whatever it is before you give them the money? Oh no, well you can Zelle them, but when you get to the location, you gonna have to get a money order. Why am I giving this seems a little flim-flam, because why I can't Zelle him the money if this is the same truck, right? Right. We going 147 miles. It's not that difficult. So she was like, well, that's just how it is. So I'm just like, okay. They told me they was gonna call me at 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So I left Friday evening after orientation and just drove straight back to Birmingham because I was like, I could spend the night at my apartment, have everything together, all that kind of stuff. So 5 o'clock comes Eastern Standard Time and 5 o'clock hits Central Standard Time, and I still ain't got no phone call. So I done called customer service. Hey, I need to know what time y'all coming. Thursday, I meant to tell y'all this. Thursday, I found out they said, oh, well, it might be Saturday and it might be Sunday. When did the mic come in? The mic never was there. from up until Thursday, the moving date was supposed to be 27th. There was no mic in the situation when I booked this. So I'm thinking, well, let me talk to the person who booked me. Oh, I can't never talk to him after I booked. After I paid the deposit, the man was gone. I can only talk to customer service now, and obviously they're playing with my emotions. So I'm just like, Friday come, I don't hear from supervisor. I'm calling customer service. They was like, oh, well, we gotta get an on-call supervisor to give you a phone call. Y'all do know this is Friday and I'm supposed to be moving Saturday, but now they're saying, oh, it might be Saturday, it might be Sunday. So I said, to hell with this. Excuse my language. But I got on the phone with my friends. I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I got to move. Like, I don't have anybody else to move these big items. Like, it was easier for me to do it back in Birmingham because I bought all my furniture while I was in my apartment. So most of the stuff I had to move was shoes and clothes. How I'm gonna get any of this stuff? Y'all, I came with this stuff. This stuff was in my old apartment, as y'all know. So I'm looking crazy because how I'm gonna get all this stuff to Chattanooga? So family friend came in the nick of time, was like, oh, I forgot my nephew has a moving company. So I called this man up. I was like, look, I'm in the bind, Nate. I'm just playing. But literally, I was in the bind because up until then, nobody still has not called me about what time I'm supposed to be moving. And it's 8 o'clock at this time. No supervisor called and called customer service again. Oh, well, we're still trying to get an on-call supervisor. How long it take you to get an on-call supervisor to call me back about what time I'm supposed to be moving? So I asked him, I was like, hey. He was like, well, I can't get to you Saturday, but I can get to you Sunday. So I was like, man, I didn't really want to move on Sunday. But I was like, what the price is, because at this point I'm worried that it's a flim-flam going on with this company, because one, I don't know what the price is. I don't know who's coming to pick this stuff up, because I don't know who's the truck carrier, because they still haven't given me the information. And I'm supposed to be moving Saturday and I don't know. Nobody wants to call me, nobody's calling me back, nothing. So he was like, well, tell me, I'm a send a deposit, this is how much it is. And when I tell y'all, he was a godsend. If you guys are looking for a moving company, utilize Big Red Moving Company in Birmingham. All my Birminghamians, obviously he do not cross country, but state moves as well. But he came through in the nick of time and was like, hey, I got a truck, we can move you. So by this time, I'm livid. Because why is these people playing with me? Because at this point, I'm just like moving stuff from my apartment and putting it in my sister's house. I was like, I'll just get that stuff later. I am breaking down this move because I'm not trying to exceed the amount that we said we was gonna do, because that's all I had for that. That was it. I have spent most of this money trying to get the apartment, trying to get this done, trying to get that done. It's a lot to moving, and people don't realize how much money gets tied up very quickly. So I called my bank, y'all. We disputing these charges because it's 8 o'clock on Saturday morning, and I still have not heard from these people. I called them back, they still ain't said nothing. So by 8 o'clock, oh, I got another moving company. I just sent a deposit. We moving on about our business. We stayed on business in 2024 because I'm not gonna be put in a bind. So I called my bank. They was like, oh, this fraud. So they disputed the charges. All of a sudden, after the dispute, it's 1 o'clock, y'all, on Saturday. I get this random text message saying, this your driver, I'ma be there tomorrow between 8 and 12. Sir, I don't know you. You didn't introduce yourself. You didn't call. You didn't say this is such and such from such and such company. Mind you, I still didn't know who truck was coming to pick up the stuff because nobody gave me that information. So at first I laughed and thought about it. I was like, I'm not gonna respond because at this point my hands are clean. I got another moving company. I'm getting my money back. Y'all are not finna flim-flam me. Well, I guess you're not gonna answer, but I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna be at your place of residence by this time. I text back immediately. Don't show up here. Do not show up here because y'all was supposed to call on Friday. And don't get me wrong, I understand that in trucking, it's not the trucker or carrier's problem about how this got booked through the brokerage. But at this moment, I was upset because one, I was supposed to be moving on Saturday. Nobody ever called. Nobody ever said nothing. You gonna tell me maybe Saturday, maybe Sunday, but you never called on Friday to say, hey, Miss Turner, I just gave y'all my real last name. Hey, Miss Turner, this is such and such for All Coast Moving Group. You know, I know we're supposed to move you on Saturday, but unfortunately we can't find the truck, so Sunday might be the day. Can we make sure, you know, you have all your stuff in your truck? This is still the quoted price. None of that happened. I get a random text message, and so I'm lighting into them. Hey, I'm not gonna need y'all services anymore. Please do not show up. Well, they told us Sunday. And I said, well, all along, I was supposed to be moved on Saturday. I have not heard from this company. This company has not called me back. None of this. And now you're telling me you're just gonna show up on a random time tomorrow on Sunday from 8 to 12. I'm not buying it. So he didn't text back after that. I'm getting blown up from the company now. Oh, well, we're not going to be able to move you if you don't answer the phone. You don't have to move me. My bank already moved me because they moved them funds right back to my account because you was with some flim-flam stuff. And I tell you guys, do not utilize this group. I later found out when I started doing more research, because at this point I'm livid. I did a Better Business Bureau check on them afterwards because I did a check. I didn't see anything bad, but when I went to that Better Business check, baby, they had got me. They was gonna get me. Baby, fraud. The people broke their stuff. They ain't never called them. They showed up on the wrong day. They picked up and dropped off on another date, and they was 3 hours away. I got out of a bad situation because of God. God knew who to bring into your life when you need something. So obviously, I got my money back. They did not move me. I found somebody else to move. Do I still have stuff in Birmingham? Of course I still have stuff in Birmingham, because while I was moving stuff, I didn't move that stuff back. Y'all, let me tell you, y'all ever moved in the rain? I'm not talking about little stuff. I'm moving big totes in the rain to my sister's house because I'm just like, I'm not getting charged for extra stuff. We gotta break this stuff down. Y'all, I was a drill sergeant. I said, if it don't got to go, it ain't got to go. Y'all, I'm talking about boxes of shoes. I left at my sister's house. I was like, I just need 6-7 pair of shoes. I ain't got to be. Y'all, I ain't never seen the likes of. You would thought I was bare bones in here. I'm like, I'm just bringing this amount of clothes that I need for work. I'm not going anywhere. Like I said, I still have stuff in my sister's house now. Every time she comes to visit me, she brings some milk, and so I'm thankful for her, because this whole situation was a very much nightmare, and had I just held my composure, just kept everything in the house, everything could have been here. But hey, God works in mysterious ways. I'm not going to, be bitter about it. I'm only 2 hours away. When I go, I'm gonna bring a tote. When she comes, she gonna bring a tote, and mostly all my stuff is here. That is by the grace of God, and most of these clothes I can't fit anyway, so they're staying at her house. But that is my lovely moving story. My tips for moving. First of all, make sure that the truck you're getting is not a broker's truck and it's actual the carrier. Like that person you talk to is the one coming to pick up your stuff and drop it off. 2, try to have a backup plan. Try to have a backup plan, because you never know. Like, I'm not saying you gotta pay 2 different deposits, but always try to have a backup plan outlined in your mind. So if the worst case scenario happens, you got something to fall back on. 3, don't use them. Don't. Just don't. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Don't use them. And 4, I would say this has taught me a lot, and the tip is to, go through your stuff before you move. I know we like to hoard on to a lot of stuff. I'm a big hoarder of shoes, so I really learned that I need to consolidate a lot of stuff, because it's some stuff that was in my closet I hadn't seen in years. So, needless to say, those are my tips. This is my horror moving story that turned into a great story. I'm here, I'm thriving, I am well, I have most of my stuff, and I can't complain about anything else other than the initial moving company. But other than that, thank you guys for staying tuned. If you have any questions about moving, let me know. I'm gonna try to start doing a series, because I really do want to document this whole moving situation. It's literally been a month since I've been here, so I really want to give a 6-month update and then a year update and all that kind of stuff moving on, so we can see the traction that I've made and the strides that I've made. So don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you won't miss a video when I drop it. Also share this to your working business besties that I'm now their new favorite publicist, and they got to be a part of this club. So see you guys later, and thank you for staying tuned, and bye y'all.